You're listening to the AstroMommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the AstroMommy community. I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. If you would like to support the AstroMommy Newsletter, there are several ways to do so. Subscribe on Substack, share it with a friend, schedule a reading, check out my family's Etsy shop, Metaphysical Flamingo, or just leave a tip. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Full Moon in Libra, self-acceptance and balancing our relationships. Daily Horoscope for Wednesday and Thursday, April 5th through the 6th, 2023. Good morning, friends. So how's everyone feeling with the Mars and Cancer energy? It has been like night and day for me to have Mars out of Gemini, my ascendant and first house. When Mars was in Gemini, I felt a huge amount of energy to write, communicate, collect data, and physically do things. But recently, I could probably date it back to Mars's ingress into Cancer. I just want to be comfortable. The desire to work on my home environment and make it more relaxing and aesthetically pleasing has been really strong. This I attribute to Venus in Taurus, but also Mars in Cancer, because Mars in Cancer wants things comfortable, cozy, and safe. I've been also thinking a lot about prepping for the future. There is war on the horizon. Astrologers Dan Waite and S.J. Anderson put together a fantastic series on Dan's YouTube channel, World Astrology Report, outlining the major events of the 2020s. They presented a very convincing argument that whenever Uranus is in the sign of Gemini, which it will be, starting mid-2025 and fully in 2026, America has had a significant war. First, the Revolutionary War, then the Civil War, and finally World War II. So knowing this transit is coming, we can heed the warning that astrology is giving us and make preparations. If you want to check out their series on the 2020s, I've linked the YouTube playlist below. It's about 2 hours in all. I highly recommend taking the time to watch it, and I'm sure I will be citing it a lot in this decade. The series also sparked within me the desire to ramp up my studies of mundane astrology, so that's always fun to be inspired. But Mars in Cancer has definitely felt different than Mars in Gemini. How about you? Have you noticed a difference in your drive, energy level, or focus? I would love to know, so please leave a comment. Okay, let's get into the astrology. Tonight and into tomorrow is the full moon in Libra, perfecting at 12:34 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:34 p.m. Pacific. Before the full moon, the moon will form a square to Mars in Cancer at 4:11 a.m. Eastern Time, and this could mean aggressive and argumentative energy. The moon in Libra wants to be diplomatic, keep the peace, and maintain a steady demeanor, but Mars in Cancer is passionate, driven by emotion, and a need for security. This could indicate arguments, fights, or disagreements about things that feel very near and dear to your heart. At 12:20 p.m. Eastern Time, Mercury in Taurus perfects his sextile to Saturn in Pisces. This aspect has been forming since Monday, and so you could have already experienced this archetypal combination in your own life the last couple of days. Mercury and Saturn together in a harmonious sextile brings serious conversations, more concentration, and focused attention to detail, thinking more logically, rationally, and critically. You may have had or will have a serious conversation with someone, and with Mercury's recent square to Pluto, which we talked about on Monday, this could be about deep stuff, things that previously were hidden or unknown being shared, revealed, and exposed. The cat's out of the bag about something, and now we must have a serious talk about it. Thankfully, it's a sextile, so a resolution or an agreement to disagree is very possible. Watch out for the influence of the moon square Mars, though, which can make this serious conversation have sparks and flares. The Sun in Aries will meet up with Chiron in Aries at 6:17 p.m. Eastern Time, right before the full moon, and so essentially this is a Sun-Chiron full moon. Below is the full moon chart, cast for Washington, D.C. at 12:34 a.m. Eastern Time. You can see the moon in the upper left, now in the Via Combusta, the burned road, at 16 degrees Libra, 7 minutes, and opposite her in the lower right is Chiron, the Sun, and Jupiter, all in Aries. This full moon may be about finding a way to balance the needs for individuation with the needs of our relationships. We may all have to work on accepting ourselves for who we are, while also being diplomatically involved with others and seeking to find peace in those relationships. The Libra-Aries axis is always about the self and what the self wants, opposed to the relationship and what the relationship wants. It's impossible to make both happy at all times, and so there's a push and pull as the Libran scales are constantly adjusted. So I feel that Chiron and the Sun together in Aries are about self-acceptance, loving yourself despite your wounds or your weaknesses, opposite the Moon in Libra, which is about loving others and accepting others despite their shortcomings and weaknesses. Finding the strength and courage to keep the big picture in mind with Jupiter right there in Aries and continue the path towards our goals with hope and optimism. Let's talk about Thursday. On Thursday, Mercury in Taurus will meet up with the North Node one day before he enters his shadow period when he hits 5 degrees Taurus 51 minutes on Friday, April 7th, 2023. See the graphic below for Mercury's retrograde cycle in Taurus this year. The time before his next retrograde, which will begin on April 21st, 2 days after the solar eclipse on April 19th, is a destined moment where we may see snippets of what's to come during Mercury's next retrograde cycle. These will be tangible, edible glimpses that you may need to taste and chew on to figure out their flavor profile before you are able to swallow and digest them. So be prepared to savor the little hors d'oeuvres that Mercury will be dishing out over the next few days. Also tomorrow, the Moon in Libra will fully oppose Jupiter in Aries, and this could be a moment when the dream you have for your future self is challenged by the relationships you have. Your relationships may need some tending to. Jupiter in Aries has big, grand visions for themselves and often will charge forth without looking back, but the Moon in Libra is reminding mighty Jupiter that there are others involved here that need attention too, so be prepared for people expressing an over-optimism or hopefulness that needs to be wrangled back in and reminded that socializing and relating to the little people is important too. This combo could also manifest as a desire to expand really big into your surroundings, but then you are pulled back by a physical need, habit, or ritual, and so your priorities will need a bit of adjusting. Your health cannot suffer for your big dreams. Balance needs to be sought after for long-term sustainability. Moon opposite Jupiter in general can also indicate legal issues, marital conflicts, unpopularity, and wastefulness, just FYI. Lastly, there's a lot of quincunx energy on Thursday between the Moon and Uranus, Venus, and Neptune, so this could represent things suddenly feeling weird or out of sorts. It's like there's an underlying Twilight Zone vibe going on in the background on Thursday. Let's move on to the card for the day. What is the guidance for today? 9 of Wands. On this card, we see a man, a bandage across his head, holding a wand upright. He is standing on the floor in front of 8 wands forming a wall behind him. Beyond that are a series of low mountainous peaks and valleys. The 9 of Wands is about embodying courage and resilience, standing your ground and guarding that which you've fought hard for. The mountains beyond the wall of Wands represent that there are still challenges ahead, but they are not as tall and imposing as they could be, or maybe they've been in the past. Even though the man on this card is injured, he still has shown up for his shift on the wall, representing toughness and inner strength, even when exhausted and hurt. The 9s in the tarot represent almost being at the place of completion, and it's the transition from the journey to the end goal. As the card for the day, I feel this could be indicating that you are almost at the finish line in regards to something, and there's just a bit of powering through that needs to happen. You may be exhausted and running on fumes, but you are spirited and bold and willing to push on till the end. The 9 of Wands correlates to the Moon in Sagittarius in the second decan, so this is a time when your faith will be tested. Can you hold on to the bigger picture long enough to make it to the end goal? This is about safeguarding your faith, staying hopeful, and continuing to dream big, even when you're tired, wounded, and spiritually done with the whole thing. Sagittarius energy is about keeping that flame of inspiration and the spark of life alive through the long, cold winter. So hold on to your dreams. Something is almost complete. Let me know if this reading resonates with you in the comments. I hope this is helpful. Until Friday, AstroMommy.
Thank you for reading or listening to the Daily Horoscope. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. Today's card was pulled from the A.E. Waite Holographic Tarot, available on Amazon. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the AstroMommy Newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the AstroMommy Newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language,
Or a few days after the
crying
transit.
tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.